Hey y'all, welcome back to Matt's Fab Shop. So this is going to be part two of the engine rebuild for the welding machine. And I realized in the last video I kind of mislabeled my video. I'm not actually doing a rebuild. I'm just putting all new gaskets in it where it needs it, and just checking everything over to make sure it's all right. I'm not going to be putting any bearings or anything like that in the bottom end, unless if it needs it when I dig into it here in just a few minutes. So that being said, let's just go ahead and get on to it. So I've already got the engine turned over on the stand. What I have to do is I have to take this cap off and that one off. And then I have to get this main cap, that one, and the back one all off, as well as the oil pump, or the sump for the oil pump here, because it's bolted to the main cap, as you can see. And it's just like most other engine. It's got a rod that goes down, and it's got a gear that drives off the camshaft. See if y'all, you can't see it, but there it is. So it's pretty straightforward. You have to lift the crank up to be able to get your main seals in, which shouldn't be too hard. So we're going to go ahead and start taking this down and putting everything in order, and then we'll start putting gaskets back on it. Got the front part off and the back part, and it covers all of that right there. I don't know how well y'all can see it, but that is the rear main, or what they call the rope seal. And if I'm not mistaken, that is the original fabric style seal that they have, which is right here, which are not, they're just not good at all. So I'm going to set the camera up and start getting all this apart for y'all. got all the main caps pulled, and I've found a couple things that does not sit well with me, because if I was to put it back together like this, there's a chance I could have a total disaster. There's a new word for y'all. This front journal still feels pretty smooth on both sides, you know. But the center here, sorry, I wasn't paying attention to the camera. You can tell where the galley was. I guess that's what you want to call it. I'm not very good with terminology these days. Was that, and everything else is kind of, you know, recessed a little bit. Now your second one for your main cap, you can really start to feel the grooves where the bearings have kind of wore into the crankshaft. So that is going to need to be addressed. But the back here, it's the worst out of all of them. I mean, y'all can literally see, you know, the grooves and everything. With that, so I'm basically just going to have this crank sent off to a machine shop here that's local and have it resurfaced. I'm going to show you all the main caps, starting from back to front. The back one, you can see all the copper showing, and you know, you can really feel the grooves in there. The middle one, again, you can see the copper showing. To me, it looks like it's got a little bit of a blue tint in some spots, like it almost got hot. And you know, oh dang it, you can't feel as many grooves, but you can still tell that they're there. And the front one, it still looks decent. It looks a little scored, but it would maybe be okay. But nonetheless, everything's going to be replaced. So this just goes to show that, you know, like I said earlier on in a couple of videos past, I got a bad habit of jumping the gun, and this is a prime case of that. I get these ideas in my head, and I want to, you know, go and hammer down on it, and I forget very important things that need to be done before a project of this sort. Even though I know that stuff's got to be done. And the guy that I bought this engine off of, he's a friend of mine, and I trust his word 100%. And, you know, I was showing him, you know, what was going on with it. And neither one of us know or would have known that this was going to be an issue. When he pulled the engine, it ran. It didn't smoke, but he did tell me it leaked oil. And, you know, like I was saying earlier, that's a common thing with these Continental flatheads, you know, in these welding machines. So I didn't think nothing of it. He didn't think nothing of it. But again, that just goes to show you, take your time, don't jump the gun, and just go through everything as anybody else would. You know, go through, check all your bearings, check all your seals, and make sure that it's 100%. Since the crank's got to be pulled anyway, you know, I'm going to have to pull the caps off of the connecting rods, and I'll go ahead and put new bearings in those. But I also have to pull the cam gear off this plate to be able to get the crank out. So we're going to go ahead and start on that. so I was wrong on having to pull the cam gear. All I needed to do was pull the crank gear to get this out. I went ahead and pulled the crankshaft out. It's laying over here on the bench, as y'all can see right there. So I'm going to show y'all the bearings for the connecting rods. There I go again with being a bad cameraman. That's that's it, guys. I mean, there's not much more I can do until I have the crank sent off and get new bearings in. So I'm just going to show y'all what's going on here. So I got a shop towel. I'm just going to kind of wipe everything down real quick. That way the oil doesn't give a glare. But as you can see, you know, copper's starting to show through. You know, you can feel it's grooved. It's every one of them. Go over here to the main caps, or the caps for the connecting rods. You can see they're scored up. I mean, it's just about what you would expect for, you know, an engine of this age. That one looks really bad. That's cylinder number 1. So until then, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the caps and the nuts back on each cylinder. That way they don't get lost and I know exactly where they go. And that's pretty much it, y'all. But even the bearings on the top side are pretty rough too. I mean, there's, you know, grooves and the copper showing through on most of them. This one here, I don't know how well I can see it, but it looks like it got hot because you can see a little bit of blue in it. And of course, the crankshaft, you know, it's the same way as everything else. So, yep, we're going to the machine shop. Well, y'all, I didn't expect this video to be short-lived, I guess you would say. But it is what it is. I can't really do anything until, you know, like I was saying earlier, have the crank sent off and get it back and get my bearings. But y'all do me a favor. Give me a like, subscribe, comment, share this video. I've said it before. I'm going to say it again. I'm going to need all y'all's help to get this channel off the ground and, you know, get it going. So I can keep bringing in good content for y'all and whatnot. But I hope y'all enjoyed. Y'all have a good one.